From Tricycle to Automotive Titan, discover Nissan's incredible 85-year journey of transformation. In a dusty American town, a flicker of hope once ignited in the cramped workshop of a small-town mechanic named Hiroshi. With oil-stained hands and the spirit of a fighter, Hiroshi ventured into a world of laughter and grit during the Great Depression. Each tricycle he built didn't just serve as a childhood toy. It symbolized dreams in a town desperate for joy. He gathered neighbors, teaching them not only about gears and wheels but about unity and resilience. As he fixed up tricycles, he transformed his garage into a refuge where smiles blossomed amid hardship, fueling a community drenched in despair. Fast forward to today. The echoes of Hiroshi's laughter linger in the air of his old, creaking garage. Kenji, his spirited grandson, stood just outside, peering at the forgotten relics. Time had marched on, but the burdens of life remained heavy. Like a shadow, debts clung to him, and the whispers of societal expectations darkened his vision. But Kenji refused to abandon his grandfather's legacy. With a heart overflowing with ambition, he envisioned turning the family business into a beacon of hope for their town. Yet reality swiftly crashed in. The old garage was barely holding on, much like the town itself. A rival company had emerged, exploiting workers and squeezing every drop of profit from them. Indignation bubbled within Kenji as he realized the injustices unraveling before him. It wasn't just about the bottom line. It was about the integrity of the very community his grandfather had nurtured. A fire ignited inside him, prompting Kenji to unite fellow mechanics and workers with a rallying cry for fairness and dignity. "We won't stand by and watch anymore," he declared passionately. Before long, the townsfolk embraced his vision. Hope blossomed anew, culminating in a groundbreaking vehicle reveal designed to embody the spirit of fairness. Tension coursed through the air. The town buzzed with anticipation. But as excitement built, a betrayal surfaced from someone he had trusted the most. The very foundations of his plans cracked under the strain of deception, threatening the fragile trust of his community. Confusion clutched at Kenji's heart as he faced a dire crossroads. Would he press on, chasing success at the cost of his values? Or could he find strength in unity, forging a new path that breathed life into the proud legacy of Hiroshi? The moment was upon him as he stood, eyes wide and heart pounding, at the eve of unveiling his new creation. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As Kenji took a deep breath, the room fell silent. He felt the weight of not just his own dreams but the hopes of everyone around him. This was his chance to resurrect not just a vehicle but the values and ideals Hiroshi had instilled in him. Would he choose to uphold his grandfather's legacy or succumb to the pressures that threatened to tear him apart? The crowd held its breath, tension crackling in the air, waiting for Kenji to speak, waiting for a revelation that could change everything. Kenji's heart raced as he faced the eager crowd. He could feel the eyes of his neighbors, friends, family, and even strangers drilling into him, searching for the promise of hope. He could almost hear his grandfather's voice whispering encouragement in his ear, urging him to hold fast to what truly mattered. "Tonight," Kenji began, his voice steady despite the storm raging inside him, "we stand not just on the brink of unveiling a new vehicle, but on the edge of something even more significant. This is our moment, a chance to reclaim our integrity, our community, and our legacy." Murmurs rolled through the crowd, a mix of curiosity and uncertainty dancing in the air. Kenji took another breath, rallying himself. "For too long we've been caught in the grip of greed and deceit. My grandfather taught me that building something meaningful means prioritizing the people behind the machines, not just profit. Let us create something that embodies our spirit, together." He stepped back, revealing the covered vehicle, tension sparking a glimmer of anticipation. The fabric was heavy, but behind it lay more than just metal and wheels. It contained dreams, unity, and a future they could forge as one. With a swift movement, he pulled the fabric aside, revealing a sleek electric car, its polished surface glinting under the old garage lights. The model was revolutionary, designed for utility and efficiency, completely embodying the community's ideals. It was eco-friendly, built to honor the environment while ensuring everyone benefited. Whispers of excitement buzzed through the crowd, morphing into gasps. Kenji had done it. He had taken the vision of his grandfather and projected it into reality. "We call this the Unity Car," he announced. "It's built for us, made by us. Each family can be part of this. It's not just about transportation, it's about togetherness, job creation, and lifting our community." Cheers erupted as people within the crowd began to step forward, eyes sparkling with disbelief and hope. Kenji could feel the weight of the betrayal start to lift, replaced by the warmth of renewed purpose. But just then, a figure stepped forward from the shadows. It was Ryo, Kenji's childhood friend. Kenji's heart dropped as he saw the conflicting emotions on Ryo's face: disappointment, anger, and perhaps a hint of betrayal. "This isn't yours to claim, Kenji. You've forgotten where you come from," Ryo shouted, the crowd falling silent, all eyes now on him. "You're thriving because of those you left behind." The accusation cut deep. Kenji's stomach twisted, and he fought to keep his composure. Those words echoed louder than any cheer, reverberating against his resolve. What had he overlooked? Somewhere in the excitement, had he lost connection with some of his own friends? Heart pounding, he turned back to the crowd, desperate to regain control. "No, I promise. This isn't just for me. I'm still here, standing with you all. Together we can reach new heights." His voice rang out with a clear plea, but doubt lingered like an uneasy fog. Kenji's vision flickered between joyous faces and Ryo's embittered expression. Could he still forge a future amidst this divide? As doubt washed over him, the unity he had fought for suddenly felt fragile. What lay ahead now? Could he mend these broken ties, embrace the truth of his situation, and still carry forth the banner of hope? Just as the crowd started murmuring again, Kenji realized a choice stood before him, one that could determine the future of everything he cherished. Would he fight against the fractures, or could he find a way to heal them? As he stood on the precipice of this decision, an unsettling thunder rumbled in the distance, heralding a storm that wouldn't just test his resolve, but could also test the very fabric of his community. Despite the lingering heaviness in the air, Kenji focused on Ryo, the turmoil within himself wrestling for clarity. "I haven't forgotten any of you," he said, his voice breaking slightly under the weight of the moment. This entire project is built on your ideas, your struggles, our shared history." Ryo's expression remained stony, but Kenji didn't waver. He took a step toward him, the crowd parting slightly, creating a bubble of intimacy amidst the chaos. "If I've made promises and connections feel overlooked, I want to make that right. We are stronger together, and I need you. So does this community." The tension hung in the air, waiting to be released. Kenji turned to the crowd, sweeping his gaze across the faces he knew so well. Some were nodding, others looked skeptical, but deep down, there was an undercurrent of hope. Was it possible to bridge the gap between their shared past and this bold future? After a moment of silence, it was Miko, a single mother from the neighborhood, who stepped forward. "Kenji," she said, her voice trembling with emotion, "you've always believed in us. We believed in you too. But Ryo's right. We want to be part of this journey, not just spectators." The crowd murmured again, a wave of emotion fluctuating through them. Kenji looked back at Ryo. There was pain, yes, but beneath that, a flicker of understanding. "Let us do this together," Kenji replied. "I'm not the only one who can lead. Let's involve everyone: families, local businesses, artisans. I want to open the doors to this process, and let it be a collaborative effort." A few in the crowd started nodding, voices echoing agreement. Kenji saw glimmers of hope igniting among them like kindling catching fire. "If you want to be part of this, then let's meet regularly. Let us brainstorm and make decisions together. But still, the churning storm loomed, threatening to disrupt everything. Rio stepped forward, breaking the weight of silence yet again. Can you really promise that? Or will you forget us again once the grants come in? Kenji felt that familiar ache in his chest tighten. This was a test, and he needed to answer fully. I promise, he declared. I won't abandon anyone here. If I'm leading this movement, you're all by my side. Today and every day moving forward. A ripple of conversations broke through the anxious atmosphere, excitement ebbing and flowing amongst the people. Kenji felt a mix of relief and trepidation. This was a commitment he could hardly take back. The intensity of the moment left him both invigorated and drained. As he looked around, sensing the shift in the crowd, thunder rolled again, sounding louder, closer. The storm was undeniable now, clouds gathering ominously. Then Kenji noticed something else. A group of children had crept closer, their curious eyes fixed on the Unity car. They began to play around it, laughter breaking the tension, bringing light and brightness where shadows had threatened to reign. Suddenly, Kenji realized that for every fracture, hope could find a way to mend, just like how he felt the bonds with Rio tightening, not breaking. But would he have the courage to face the storm ahead? More importantly, how would they all navigate the reigniting tensions within themselves as they tried to build a future together, ready to embrace the deep changes it demanded? As the first drops of rain began to fall, Kenji stood tall, grounded in the moment. Yet as flashes of lightning followed, illuminating his surroundings, he knew that their path was just beginning and the storm would test them all. Would they brave the elements together, or would everything they hoped for wash away? The first raindrops fell softly, quickly transforming into a steady downpour. Kenji's heart raced as he watched the children dash for cover, their laughter turning into shrieks of delight as each droplet hit the ground. It was as if the storm had ignited a spark of pure joy amid the uncertainty. But for Kenji, joy felt bittersweet. He was aware of the storm on the horizon, not just in the skies but lurking within the hearts of those watching. Kenji, Miko's voice broke through his thoughts. She stepped closer, her expression serious yet hopeful. You have to understand, the emotions are real. It's not just about the car or the project. It's personal for each of us. He nodded, absorbing her words like rainwater into parched ground. I get that, Miko. It should be personal. This isn't just about constructing something tangible. It's about rebuilding trust and creating community. Rio shifted his weights from one foot to the other, still standing close by, and Kenji could see the storm reflected in his eyes. You say that, but how can we truly believe in you again? What makes you different this time? The challenge hung in the air, swelling with emotion. Because I'm not alone this time, Kenji said, feeling a swell of determination rise within him. I've realized that it's not just up to me. We need each other. We need you. I'm asking you to hold me accountable. We can't go back to isolation. Kenji felt the intensity of Rio's gaze soften, just a bit. Accountability? That's a start. But words aren't enough. Let us see action. Rain flattened the colors of the world around them, making everything seem drab except for the bright red of the Unity car. It stood there like a beacon, waiting for them to breathe life into it once more. Kenji took a deep breath, the scent of rain-soaked earth filling his lungs, and he decided to take a leap. All right, he called out, raising his voice so the crowd could hear him over the falling rain. Let us commit to a kickoff event. Something big, a festival where everyone can come together, share ideas, and bring their own creations. Let's invite local businesses, artists, and families. Everyone brings something to the table. We can showcase what we want our community to become. The crowd quieted for a moment, their eyes scanning one another as they processed what Kenji proposed. It was bold. It was risky. But something flickered in the air, like a gust of wind promising change. Wow, you really mean it, don't you? You want us to actually share our hearts and ideas? Miko asked, her voice tinged with disbelief but edged with hope. Yes, Kenji affirmed. Every voice is crucial. No more speaking over one another. I want this to be our project, not mine. Let us turn this storm into the winds of our transformation. This festival can be the first big step. As he spoke, anticipation began to rise. Kenji noticed nods, whispers, and exchanged glances filled with tentative excitement. He was leaving behind the shadows of the past while stepping into the undeniable light of possibility. But just as enthusiasm sparked, another rumble of thunder sent a shiver through the crowd. Kenji's heart pounded. Would they embrace his call to unity, or would fear pull them back into self-doubt? And there it was, the tension set against a background of growing trust. As the rain fell harder, drenching the ground beneath them, Kenji could see both the clouds above and the growing light below, lingering just at the edges of the storm. Then Ryo spoke again, his voice steady. Let us make a plan. If you mean what you say, we need to organize ourselves first. Kenji nodded, knowing this was only the start of a much longer journey. Each agreement forged now would link them more tightly, binding their hopes together. Let us do it, Kenji declared, feeling momentum shift. Meet me this weekend. Let us lay the groundwork. As he turned from the crowd, Kenji felt both apprehension and exhilaration. Would the gathering storm rain down despair or the cleansing power of renewal? The weight of the question dragged at him as he prepared for what lay ahead. In that moment, a fleeting thought crossed his mind: what hidden truths about their community would reveal themselves as they opened the door to this new chapter? And how much would they truly risk in the pursuit of their shared destiny? The weekend arrived quickly, the world awash in the sound of steady rain. Kenji stood by the Unity car, its bright red paint gleaming defiantly against the gray sky. The rain had transformed the park into a lively tableau of colors, as puddles formed tiny lakes reflecting the swirling clouds above. Yet beneath the cheer of nature, Kenji felt a current of unease tugging at him. People began to trickle in, umbrellas bobbing like colorful mushrooms. There were familiar faces, some he'd known since childhood, others he had yet to connect with over the years. The spectrum of emotions played out on their faces. Hope, hesitation, suspicion. As they gathered, Kenji's heart raced. He was their anchor today. With a deep breath and a smile, Kenji welcomed everyone. Thank you for being here, he said, voice steady despite the storm's wrath. This is just as much your story as it is mine. Together, we're kicking off something beautiful, the crowd murmured, uncertainty still lingering like the dampness in the air. Miko stepped up beside him, her eyes glinting with encouragement. We're going to need all your ideas. Whether it's big or small, every bit matters. So let us get to it. With that, they broke into smaller groups, scattering beneath the canopy of trees. Kenji joined Miko and Ryo, huddled under a large umbrella. Ryo appeared thoughtful, flicking through notes he had jotted down. We should focus on activities that directly involve the community, art displays, local dance performances. We can show not just what we want to create, but how we're already part of something amazing. What about storytelling? Miko suggested, her passion bubbling forth. People can share their experiences, their hopes. It could become a living tapestry of who we are. Kenji felt warmth blossom within him. The wind was shifting. The storm was becoming a catalyst for change and connection. As they brainstormed, laughter intermingled with raindrops, and soon the chatter transformed into lively discussions and fierce debates. Kenji watched faces brighten with ideas, their enthusiasm matching the rain's intensity. It was refreshing and energizing. This was community in action, hearts and minds intertwining, each fresh idea igniting new possibilities. However, amid the excitement, a sense of apprehension loomed. Would they sustain this momentum? What challenges lay ahead as they moved closer to the festival? When the rain momentarily let up, Kenji took his chance. Everyone, I want to hear the ideas bubbling in your groups. Let us connect these visions together. One by one they shared. There were plans for games that brought families together, a food festival showcasing local cuisine, a corner dedicated to celebrating their culture through music, poetry, and art. Each suggestion was greeted with cheers, and a palpable energy filled the space. But then the storm returned, dark clouds rolling in with fierce determination, the wind whipping up around them. Kenji glanced up, feeling a chill run through him. Was this a warning? Would they hold together through the tumult? As thunder echoed, Rio caught Kenji's eye. We can't back down because the weather turns. We've got to push through, like we're rebuilding something long broken. Kenji nodded, the fire igniting within him once more. Yes, just like we're doing now. Through every storm, we learn to weather it together. Aligning our passions, dreams, and fears is how we'll move forward. With that, the crowd erupted in renewed energy, their spirits unfurling like blossoms under a drizzle. But as they rallied, Kenji felt the weight of something yet unspoken. Doubts hovered at the edges. Would everyone truly commit? Or was this just a momentary spark against the ongoing darkness? He took a deep breath, trying to crush the doubts within. Let us hold our next meeting openly. We're creating this together. But will it stick? And as the rain fell once again, heavy and relentless, Kenji wondered what paths lay ahead as their stories intertwined in unpredictable ways, forever changing their community and their lives. What risks would they need to embrace? Continued growth? Would they find the courage to truly connect? As the storm intensified, the atmosphere shifted, thick with unease and determination. With Kenji and the community rallied beneath the trees, the sound of thunder clashed with the fervor of their aspirations. Each heartbeat echoed the question that lingered in the air. Could they truly forge a connection that withstood the challenges ahead? Let South keep our plans close, Miko said, her voice a steady anchor amidst the cacophony of the rain. We need a vision. We don't just want one day of excitement. We want to inspire lasting change. Her fervent gaze fell over the crowd, and in that moment, Kenji saw his own resolve mirrored in others. With the rain pounding down, they huddled together, suggestions bouncing back and forth. Rio leaned in, animated. What if we create a mentorship program? There are artists in this community who can guide the younger ones, share skills, stories. Exactly. Kenji interjected, caught up in the momentum. And what if we bring in local businesses? We can create partnerships, foster a sense of ownership. It's all about everyone feeling connected. Voices rose and mixed in a harmonious symphony of ideas, blending into a frenzy of creative energy. It felt like a dance, each thought twirling into another as they began mapping out interactive booths, collaborative exhibits, and performances that highlighted their heritage. In that chaotic whirlwind, Kenji's heart swelled. He felt the growing bond among them, a unity forged in shared dreams and passions. But then, just as suddenly as the storm intensified, a frail voice cut through the chatter. An elderly woman at the back of the crowd stepped forward, her umbrella trembling. This is lovely, she said softly, but what if it doesn't truly reflect who we are? What if we lose ourselves in the excitement? Silence fell like the rain momentarily halting. All eyes turned toward her, many nodding slowly as if absorbing the truth in her words. Kenji's pulse quickened. It was a reality check. He took a step forward, looking at the woman with earnestness. You're absolutely right. We have to ensure that everything we do represents our collective spirit. This isn't just about titillation. It's about authenticity. Kenji felt a new fire ignite within him, one that harmonized with their newfound inspiration. We'll weave our unique stories into every strand of this tapestry. It's about showing our roots even in growth. The elderly woman's face softened, a smile breaking through the storm clouds. And that includes all generations. Let us not forget those stories. Warmth spread through Kenji's chest. Yes, let us make it intergenerational. Encourage everyone to share their experiences. From grandparents to kids, each voice adds depth to our festival. As the rain continued to pour, laughter broke once more, and Kenji felt a wave of relief. This was their moment of truth. They shifted from anxiety to drive, the thunderstorm outside shifting from a threat to a metaphor for their determination. Yet, even as ideas transformed into plans, the shadow of doubt loomed. How would they keep this flame alive once the sweet chaos of the planning began? Would those who spoke so passionately today continue to feel the same commitment tomorrow? With thoughts racing, Kenji looked around at the faces illuminated by excitement, but he could still see some uncertainty lurking. Let us meet again next week. We'll flesh out our ideas and start forming teams. Together, we'll make this not only a community event but a celebration of who we truly are. As they dispersed, the rain picked up, intense yet cleansing. Kenji stood alone for a moment, watching everyone depart under their umbrellas, bubbling with new ideas and resolve. But deep within him, a nagging thought lingered. Would this be merely a fleeting moment, or would they truly hold on and cultivate the connections birthed from today's storm? In the embrace of the downpour, Kenji turned to face the Unity car, a symbol of their collective journey ahead. Unbeknownst to him, the real test was yet to arrive when the festival's date approached. Would they rise together, or would the pressures of life pull them apart? The following week arrived, the sun shining bright, washing away the remnants of the storm. Kenji awoke with a hopeful heart, but beneath that hope lay a quiet worry. Would everyone show up for the next meeting? Would the spark ignited last week still flicker within them? As he made his way to the community center, Kenji replayed the visions from their gathering in his mind. He envisioned the festival alive with colors, sounds, laughter, and stories weaving together in celebration. Yet his heart trembled with doubt. Could they really harness that energy again? He stepped through the doors, and to his immense relief, familiar faces filled the room. Miko was setting up chairs, her hair gleaming in the sunlight. Rio was chatting with a young boy, showing him how to sketch designs for the festival. The mood was lighter than the previous week's storm, but Kenji sensed an underlying tension. "Hey, everyone," he called out, his voice cutting through the chatter. "I'm so glad to see you all today." Kenji began to share his vision, but the excitement he felt was tempered by the echo of uncertainty. As people nodded along, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was still absent. After they settled down, Kenji gathered their ideas, creating a makeshift planning board. "Let us start mapping everything out. Who wants to run a booth? What should our mentorship program look like? And what stories do we want to highlight?" Hands shot up, creating a buzz of enthusiasm. Yet, he noticed behind those smiles were quiet worries. Little murmurs of "what if this doesn't work?" or "what if I wasn't good enough?" hung gently in the air. Suddenly, the elderly woman stepped forward again. Her presence commanded attention, and everyone fell quiet. "Kenji, I appreciate all this energy," she began, her voice steady. "But maybe we should share our fears too. Not just dreams. We can't just celebrate our culture without being honest about our struggles." Kenji's heart sank for a moment, but then he felt a wave of clarity. "You're right. We need to acknowledge our challenges. This festival isn't just about putting on a show. It's about facing realities together." He encouraged everyone to open up, to express their doubts and anxieties about the festival. Bit by bit, voices rose in the room. They shared stories about feeling disconnected, worries about the future, and burdens from daily lives that overshadowed their dreams. As Kenji listened, something shifted. They began to bond not just in hopes and dreams, but in their shared struggles. They formed a tighter knot, woven together by their collective vulnerabilities. Miko squeezed Kenji's arm. "We're not alone in this. Our fears remind us that we're all human, all connected. That's something we should celebrate as well." Kenji felt a swell of emotion, a blend of gratitude and respect for his community. Their laughter rang stronger now. "Absolutely. We'll bring authenticity into our festival. It becomes a safe haven for everyone's stories." Ideas flowed with renewed vigor. They started assigning roles and planning schedules, each person stepping forward, some with trepidation but others with newfound confidence. As they wrapped up, Kenji felt a spark igniting within. This was about more than just a festival. It was a profound journey of healing and connection. The real festival was beginning now. Even before the lights shone and the music played, he smiled at the group, hope building within him. "Let us not forget to keep checking in with each other along the way. This journey has to be one we share together." Yet as they began to close out the meeting, Kenji couldn't ignore the whispering doubt still available in the corner of his mind. Their bonds were strengthening, but would they be enough when real life got messy? As they all began filing out, Kenji caught a glimpse of the Unity car, stationed prominently outside the promise of togetherness yet to be fulfilled. The lingering question weighed heavy on him. When the festival day came, would they emerge united or fracture under the weight of expectations? As the community members exited the room, chatter filled the air, but Kenji's mind was elsewhere. He lingered for a moment, watching their animated faces, brimming with hope yet haunted by unspoken fears. Would the closeness they found today last? Miko's voice called him back. You okay? He turned, forcing a smile. Yeah, just thinking about the festival? About us, he replied, taking in the group as they gathered their belongings, some laughing, others sharing quiet conversations about how we can keep this momentum going. Hey, it's normal to feel a bit worried, Miko said, her hand resting gently on his shoulder. But remember how we came together. We can use that strength. Her optimism was a balm to his worries, if only for a moment. As they stepped outside into the golden afternoon sun, Kenji's eyes were drawn to the Unity car again. It was an emblem of their mission, a symbol of the togetherness they aspired to create. The vehicle gleamed, its vibrant paint a reminder that bright beginnings could emerge from darkness. Let us take a picture, Miko suggested, pulling out her phone. They gathered the members who remained, laughter erupting again as they piled close together, arms draped over shoulders. Kenji's heart swelled. Click. The shutter captured a snapshot of joy, a moment where burdens felt lighter. This is just the start, he said, holding the photo up like a trophy. But in his gut he still felt unease. As each person left, he found it harder to ignore the disquiet gnawing at him. What if, when the festival drew near, old wounds resurfaced? What if disagreements brewed during the planning phase? Later that evening, Kenji sat alone in his small apartment, a stark contrast to the laughter that filled the community center just hours before. The silence was deafening. The weight of expectations pressed heavily on his chest. His phone buzzed, breaking the stillness. It was Rio. Hey, how do you feel about inviting the younger kids to help with the festival? They have fresh ideas and energy. His heart raced at the suggestion. Inviting children could reignite the joy in the community but also stirred anxieties. What if they lacked focus? What if their input created chaos instead of unity? But then an idea sparked in his mind. Yes, I love that, he typed back, excitement bubbling within him. They'll bring a whole new vibe to the festival. He gazed out his window, watching the sun set, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. Each color blended in harmony, much like the stories they were beginning to weave together. Kenji realized he needed to embrace all feelings: fear, excitement, uncertainty in the journey to connect. But as he settled into bed that night, he couldn't shake the feeling that the real challenge had just begun. What if inviting the young ones led to an unforeseen split in their united front? The next day, as Kenji made his way back to the center, he resolved to share Ryo's idea with the group. This could either strengthen their bond or unravel it. The question lingered in his mind, filling him with a mix of eagerness and dread. Would they follow through, or would his attempt to include the children backfire? Kenji's heart thumped in anticipation. And with that, he stepped through the community center doors, ready to embrace the unknown. As Kenji stepped into the community center, the bright buzz of voices enveloped him like a warm blanket. People filtered in, buzzing with ideas and laughter, but the weight of Ryo's suggestion pressed heavily on his mind. He spotted Miko at the refreshment table, filling cups with juice. Her smile was infectious, but he felt a knot of worry tighten in his stomach. Kenji, she called, waving him over. We need to finalize the activities for the festival. Are you ready to share your big idea? He nodded, swallowing hard. About inviting the kids? Her eyes sparkled. Yes. I talked to a few parents and they're excited. Just think about the energy they can bring. He wanted to feel her enthusiasm. He really did. But as their eyes met, he couldn't help but voice his concern. What if it backfires, Miko? What if it becomes chaotic? Chaos can be good sometimes, she said, her voice firm yet soothing. Think about it. Kids bring creativity. They see the world differently. Could reignite all of us. Taking a deep breath, He stepped toward the group gathered in a semicircle. "Can I have your attention?" he called out, feeling his heart race. "I have an idea inspired by Rio. How about we invite the younger kids to help with the festival preparations?" A stirring rustle swept through the crowd. Kenji could feel skepticism in the air, but also intrigue. "Kids? What will they actually contribute?" asked Tomo, a longtime board member, crossing his arms. Before Kenji could falter, Miko chimed in. "They have fresh ideas. They can brainstorm with the older members. Together, they might spark something amazing." A murmur of interest rolled through the group, but Tomo remained unconvinced. "But they're kids. They can't manage responsibilities. Or they might surprise us," Kenji argued, his voice gaining strength. "Remember how at last year's festival, we thought we couldn't count on each other? We need to trust our community to grow. To start somewhere." Silence fell as Kenji looked around. He could see indecision on the faces of his friends and neighbors, reflections of his own uncertainty. Would they rise to the occasion, or was he risking too much? After a tense pause, Miko broke the silence again. "Let us give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? We can always adapt if it doesn't work." Kenji's heart raced with both fear and hope. He was yearning for unity, yet it felt so fragile. Would everyone embrace his idea, or would they let doubts tear them apart? One by one, the crowd began to voice tentative agreements, buoying his spirits. "All right, let us give it a try." Nodding heads and murmurs of encouragement ignited a faint flame within him. Still, Tomo looked doubtful. "Fine. But if it turns into a mess, we'll have to talk about the consequences later." Kenji could only manage a nervous smile. The uncertainty of the future loomed over him, but as the meeting continued, he felt the spark of possibility vibrating in the air. The room gradually filled with props, plans, and laughter. And beneath that lightness, Kenji's anxiety lingered. He realized they were stepping into a realm filled with opportunities and potential pitfalls. But what mattered most was they were stepping together. Later that night, exhausted but hopeful, Kenji sat on his porch and stared at the stars, each one twinkling like the collective dreams of the community. If they could balance chaos with creativity, the festival could become a beacon of connection. But would they be strong enough to handle the unexpected? The thought hovered in his mind like a shadow before dawn. The real challenge was yet to come, and Kenji knew, deep down, that clarity might only appear when faced with the storm. The days leading to the festival curled together like the lifelines in his hands. Kenji felt the familiar pulse of stress and anticipation race through him as he stood in front of the community center, watching families gather with bright smiles, children bouncing in excitement. The air was charged, almost electric, as laughter bubbled up around him, a symphony of possibility. But beneath that joy, Kenji's heart thudded with uncertainty. Today was a test, a decisive moment that could either bind their community even tighter or expose cracks they had yet to confront. With a determined smile, Kenji stepped inside. The decorations hung from the ceiling, vibrant colors swirling in harmony, while children darted about, deep in conversation and creativity. It was heartwarming to see families bonding over their shared hopes. But the question loomed in his mind. Would they all come together in the end? "Kenji, over here." Miko waved him over, excitement radiating from her. She gestured towards the volunteers organizing booths, their faces lit with determination. Kenji felt a rush of pride. "Look at how involved everyone is," he said, trying to shake off the lingering doubts. "I told you, kids have an incredible energy," she replied, grinning. They brought new ideas and a lot of laughter. Sure enough, a group of kids were painting signs that declared vibrant food choices and fun activities for everyone in the neighborhood. It was incredible to see them rolling up their sleeves and pouring their hearts into this festival. "I just hope they can handle the responsibility," Kenji muttered. Miko nudged him with a playful smile. "You can't control everything, Kenji. Sometimes you have to trust in the process. Let them shine." The festival began, the once empty park now buzzing with activity. Music played, children ran in joy, and families came together to create memories. The energy was infectious, a beautiful contrast to the storm clouds that once loomed over them. But then, out of nowhere, a commotion erupted near a booth. Kenji's heart sank as he rushed over. A child had accidentally knocked over a stack of freshly painted signs, spilling colorful paint everywhere. Kenji braced himself for the fallout. "Oh no!" the child gasped, tears welling in their eyes. "I'm so sorry. I ruined everything." Kenji kneeled down beside the child, words heavy in his throat. "Hey, accidents happen. It's all right." He looked at the mess, then back at the child still trembling in fear. "Look at all this paint. It's just colors and we can clean it up together. But it's also part of our festival now, right?" The child blinked, confused. "What if we turn this into something fun? We can make new signs together. Let us create something colorful. A chance to more express each family's voice. What do you say?" Tears turned into giggles, and all around, the adults caught on to the idea. Encouragement bubbled up like the paint now splattering with purpose. They gathered around, joining in, turning an accident into a heartbeat of laughter, learning, and collaboration. As the sun danced overhead, Kenji felt a wave of relief wash over him. The festival blossomed, fueled by unity born from shared challenges. Later in the day, Kenji stood back, watching families play games and share stories around the communal tables. Ryo walked up beside him, arms crossed but eyes shining with pride. "You were right to invite the kids," Ryo admitted, his voice warm. "It brought us all closer." Kenji felt the knot of worry shrink in his chest. "I wasn't so sure. I didn't want to lose control." "This isn't about control," Ryo replied. "It's about community. We're all growing together, learning from one another. The harmony here is magical." Kenji took a breath, letting the atmosphere wrap around him like a comforting embrace. Felt good, truly good. The laughter, the joy, the whispers of connection seeped through every crack where fear once thrived. As dusk drew near, Kenji stepped back from the bustling crowd, fingers tracing the curve of the Unity car. It stood steadfast, emblematic of everything they had fought for: togetherness, growth, and resilience. As the sun went down, they gathered for a final celebration. Kenji stood at the forefront, beaming with pride and gratitude. "Thank you all for being here today. What we've created together is something special, not just a festival but an embodiment of our spirit. Each person here counts. Each voice matters." The crowd erupted into cheers, and Kenji felt the weight of his worries dissolve. They had woven their stories together into something vibrant, powerful. They found strength in unity, and he felt his grandfather's presence in every heartbeat around him. And in that moment, beneath the shimmering stars overhead, Kenji realized they had truly forged a bond strong enough to weather any storm in the future. As the final rays of sunlight kissed the horizon goodbye, a promise hung suspended in the air. They were a family, stitched together by dreams, laughter, and unity. This was just the beginning. Kenji couldn't wait for what lay ahead. Now, this is your moment. Don't wait not even one more second to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about this inspiring ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment for every true fan to stand proud.